light that comes from those amazing people that you are a part of. Dr. Nour Kabbani gave up his practice of medicine and a lot of what the worldly and dunya movements, and he chose the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he chose the path of da'wah, and he chose to bring peace and harmony and love to all people. And he's been doing this for many years, and we are really lucky to have been able to have him in bringing his time and coming, and we're very fortunate and very grateful. And as Sheikh Nazim used to call Sheikh Hisham, that he has one of God's attributes of al-Latif, because we can all carry the attributes of God, especially except Rahman. So he was al-Latif, and I think you have inherited this title of al-Latif in your manners, in your humility and humbleness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the energy and give you the power to bring more and more people into peaceful measures of Islam, and to bring happiness to a lot of people's hearts, as if you have for us tonight, and for me especially. I thank you so much, and without further ado, Sheikh Dr. Nour Kabbani.
Astaghfirullah al-Azim wa atubu ilayh. I guess it doesn't go. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Where do we start? Where do we start? Islam is an ocean. Quran is an ocean. Hadith is an ocean. It's not only the surface that I'm talking about, it's also deep. Just as the ocean is vast, you cannot find its horizon. The depth of the ocean is as well very deep. And when you go down there, what do you encounter? You encounter so many things. So, of which you talk about? That is the job of the teacher, of the speaker. Whatever I've learned from my teachers, Sheikh Hisham, Kabbani, and Sheikh Nazim, Adil al-Haqqani. And I thank you for organizing this, Sister Sana, and the rest of my Muslim brothers and sisters. Inshallah, we can benefit, all of us, from something that my teacher will allow us to say tonight. First, we start with A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Whenever you want to recite Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered. You have to say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Fasta'id Billah. You have to. Since we are going to speak of the ocean of Quran, you have to let that cursed one, that bad one, that evil one, away. So the first thing that our teachers have taught us is that when you get together and you want to talk about Quran and Hadith, first thing you have to say, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Don't start right away. If you start right away, that shaitan, that evil spirit, will come and ruin the majlis, ruin the association. So we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep that bad one away from our presence. So we say, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. By the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Inshallah, we can get something from our teachers. Asta'idhu billah. Faqsus al-Qasas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Holy Quran, and since we have Hafiz Quran, Brother Omar, he will remind me of that ayah. فَقْصُصِ الْقَصَصِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Where's Omar? Omar? Assalamu alaikum. فَقْصُصُ الْقَصَص is the best way to teach Islam. Tell them stories. Everybody likes stories. Quran al-Kareem is full of stories. Because a human being cannot understand abstract that well. Maybe some of us are very intelligent, we can, but you have to give an example for it to become nearer to the minds of human beings. So telling stories is the art of teaching Islam and teaching Iman. So speakers nowadays, what they need to do, instead of speaking about things that are very technical and very high, that common people like us don't understand much, give them a story. And this is order of Holy Quran, order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَقْصُصْ الْقَصَص. Tell them stories. So, Grand Sheikh Maulana Sheikh Nazim and my father, Maulana Sheikh Hisham Kabbani, always gave stories. So when I was praying, by the way, prayer is when you are talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't say, oh, how can that be? Or, you know, you're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be careful. When you're praying, you have to see what comes through. What comes to your heart. Because in prayer, shaitan is not around. So if you want to talk to God, if you want to talk to the Lord of heavens, take wudu and pray 2 rak'ats and see what comes through. So in prayer, that holy verse of Quran came to my heart, Asta'id billah, and I'll ask the help of Umar. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Asta'id billah, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِي حَاجَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ فِي رَبِّهِ. Look at the one, or did you hear the story of the one, or let me tell you the story of the one that debated Abraham, peace be upon him, in lordship about his Lord. Abraham alayhi salam, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him to Nimrod. Nimrod was one of the grandsons of Sam, the son of Noah. So Noah had 3 sons. One of them was Sam. Sam had a son, grandson, and then this Nimrod came about, one of his great-grandsons. This Nimrod, he claimed that he is something. Since we are talking about Islam, people have to go deeper in Islam. And one of the mistakes that all of us have is that we think we are something. Because Sister Sana told me to talk a little bit about the Tazkiyatun Nafs, to correct the soul, to correct your manners. So this person, Nimrod, he started debating and arguing with Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Why? He's arguing who is the Lord, who is the God, who is the one that gives life and who is the one that takes life. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in the holy verse. He's telling us the story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is telling the story. أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِي حَاجَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ فِي رَبِّهِ أَنْ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him what? Gave him kingdom. Made him a king. Made him a ruler. Made him in authority. So when somebody gets into authority, or when somebody starts ruling over people, the first thing that starts to come to their heart is pride, kibr. Kibr means that I'm better than you. This is the disease of nowadays. Since we're talking about the diseases of the heart. I am better than you. Why? Because I have power. And أَتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him power. Power comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from you. For some reason, this person became a king, became a prince, became a mayor, became this, became that, whatever it is. He started having in his heart kibr. How many speakers nowadays have in their heart kibr? Kibr. I don't know how you translate fully. You say arrogance, pride, boasting. They walk with a boastful posture. They speak with their nose up in the air. I'm not talking about non-Muslims, leave them alone. I'm talking about our people, Muslims. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular, general. But because I have been put in a position of a speaker, what I learned from my teacher is that you have to watch that. My grandfather, Sheikh Nazim Al-Haqqan, and my father, Sheikh Isham Kabbani, always told me, watch your arrogance and pride. Which teacher tells his student nowadays, be humble? What do they tell you nowadays, your teacher? Be all you can be. Yeah? Be as high as you can be. The limit is the sky. Yeah? Arrogance and pride. What happens when arrogance and pride comes through a human's heart? That is the characteristic of Nimrod. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't like that. He sent Abraham, peace be upon him. He said, go tell him, who is the Lord? So he said, قال إبراهيم إن ربي يحيي ويميت. Okay, you're claiming to be something. My Lord gives life, my Lord takes life. This Nimrod brought two prisoners, as it is narrated. He released one and killed one. He said, look, I gave him life. Look, I took life. He's trying to tell that I am Lord here. This is the kibr. This is something in the heart that is settled deep in the human's heart. Arrogance and pride, boasting. So what did Ibrahim alayhi salam say? He didn't have to argue because it looked like a silly excuse. So sometimes some people, they give you a silly excuse that we did this, we did that, to excuse themselves of what's wrong they are doing. But it doesn't work. So Ibrahim alayhi salam told them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the sun comes from the east. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْتِي بِالشَّمْسِ مِنَ الْمَشْرِقِ فَأْتِ بِهَا مِنَ الْمَغْرِبِ. Bring it from the west. فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. He didn't know what to say. He cannot bring the sun in front of him and tell it, okay, I killed, I give life, I free. فَبُهِتَ. He was erased. He did not have any more leg to stand on. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring the sun from the west. To show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala controls the sun. It is in His power. The Lord has the sun in His power. The one that's claiming to be something has no power. Nimrod, he said, I am your Lord. Fir'aun said, I am your Lord. Worship me. We know the stories. So in a human being, there is that characteristic that we are something. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create that characteristic in a human being? We didn't buy it from the supermarket. It's in us. You didn't order it through Amazon or whatever online. It got delivered USPS. Here's your pride. If you don't like it, return it. No, there is a reason. A Muslim has to find out his bad characteristics and turn them to good characteristics. Use them. Use them in a good way. Our way, Islam is about taming the human heart. And that's what we learn from our teachers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created inside of you, all human being, the desire to reach high. The desire to reach high. When a human being comes to the university, why is he here in the university? Why are you studying? Because you want money. Okay, you gather the money. What happens next? It is called talab al-kamal. The desire to reach perfection. That is the root of that kibr. The desire to be perfect. Because we were created to represent Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are representative of the divine, all human being. You're not here to party all night long and to do this and to do that. You're here on earth to be a representative of your Lord. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. I am making on earth a representative of me, a deputy of me. Angels said, oh, why them? Why not us? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in the human's heart something called talab al-kamal, the desire to reach perfection. That desire to reach perfection will push you to apply for a university and education. Because you don't want to be a high school graduate only. No. You want to be a college graduate, undergrad, and then a grad. And then become a partner in a lawyer firm, for its law firm, or a hospital, or become a CEO of something. Okay, so now you have money. Then, what are billionaires doing nowadays? You know the hobbies of billionaires nowadays? We have them here in the city. They're running for what? Jah. Jah means honor and status. So when a human being gathers money, what does he request next? Next, he requests Jah, status. He wants to be elected. He wants to be congressman. He wants to be a senator. He wants to be a president. He wants to be a king. And so forth. Okay, what happens when you get this status? What is next? He wants to be king of kings. He wants to be president of presidents. He wants to be the head of a whole bunch of countries. Okay, what happens after that? Because that desire is in your heart to reach perfection. What do you want to do? Then you want to be the ruler of the world. A lot of people aspire to be the rulers of the world. So all it starts with the talab al-kamal, with the desire of reaching perfection. So when a human being, I'm talking, not you, a human being, when a human being has that in his heart, he will strive and strive and strive and strive until he becomes the president of the world or the ruler of the world, like Nimrod. That is not enough for them anymore. Now they want to be gods. It's not enough for me to be the ruler of this world. Now I want to be the ruler of heavens and earth. And I will debate you, O Ibrahim, to tell you who is the Lord of heavens and earth. That is a human being's inner desire. So Islam comes and says, no, watch out for that. But who is watching out for? Which teacher is teaching us nowadays? No one. Look at YouTube, all these preachers. They're all asking for more. They're all asking for more exposure, for higher status, for more recognition, to be known all over the world. Why? Because I am something big. There's so many characteristics that relates to tasqiyat al-nafs that people nowadays, they want to just close it and say, no, we don't need tasqiyat al-nafs. Let's just do Sharia and Quran and Hadith as a knowledge and excel. Okay, you can excel, no problem. But then watch out for that kibr, for that pride and arrogance, that I know better than you, listen to me. It's my disease. I'm not saying that it's yours. I'm talking to myself. Our teachers always taught us that address yourself before you address the audience. And I'm talking to you of experience. I'm not saying something that, not of honest experience with it's my own training that my sheikh put me on. So when you're speaking, don't put the others at the level of ignorance. Nowadays that happens too. That is called tahqir. Tahqir. This is another bad characteristic of the human heart. To put somebody down, to demeaning. That, mashallah, I know, look, I am on a stage higher. And you are lower. These are all characteristics that we learned from awliyaullah to suppress and use. Okay, how do we use that in our heart? Talabul kamal. We all want to reach perfection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created it in our hearts. So what do you ask for? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us 5 times a day what to ask for. But mashallah, we only sing it. We only compete who is going to say, to call azan the best way. Who is going to call azan the most melodious way? Leave that. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to you in azan? The first thing, Allahu Akbar, means that want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, want God, want Lord, excel in knowing Him, excel in reaching Him. He's reminding us 4 times, 6 times. But we hear it and then what a nice tune, what a nice voice. Leave the voice. Listen to the meaning. When you start prayer, what do you say? The President Akbar, the Kingdom Akbar, my campaign Akbar, Dunya Akbar, stocks Akbar. What do you say? Say Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing you, all human being, your talabul kamal, your request to reach perfection is to reach Him, is to ask for Him, is to point yourself to Him, not to anything else. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created that in a human heart, that you always reach, always ask for more. More of whom? Of my Lord. How much more? That's why we say Muhammadur Rasulullah. You look at what Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has done. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah Al-Najm? مَا زَاغَ الْبَصَرُ وَمَا طَغَى. His sight did not go right, did not go left, did not waver, did not go beyond the limits. That means his sight was directed. They say in Turkish, directed at his Lord. His eyes did not go to the right, did not go to the left. مَا زَاغَ الْبَصَرُ. Eyes didn't waver. His goal was set. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not want anything of this world, did not want anything of the other world, did not want Jannah, did not want this, did not want that. What did he want? He wanted his Lord. So Muslims, when they have that in their heart, that kibr, that means I am high, I am high, I am high. You're high, but on your journey to your Lord, you are elevating yourself. Not on your journey to get to mass wealth, and amass status, and amass position, and become famous, and become this. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created that in your heart, so you ask Him, and don't ask anything else. You ask for the best. Allahu Akbar. Nowadays, even people don't know what that means. They have twisted it. That is our goal. Our goal, when we are following our teachers, our illustrious teachers, as Hana, as Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, we want Him. We want Him. If you have Him, you have everything. Who has mulku samawati wal ard? How many times we read in Holy Quran? He has mulk. He has the ownership of heavens and earth. Okay, if you reach, if you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on your side, you have everything. But if you don't have Him, you have nothing. Allahu Akbar. He's saying, come now, pray. Right? When you hear Azan, what do? You stand and pray. What's in prayer? He wants to give you something. Do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't reward you for prayers? Read hadith full of rewards. He wants to give you something. What do people say? Oh, again, I don't want anything from you, oh my Lord, it's enough. Oh, a football game, yeah, I'm ready. I'll meet you in 10 minutes. And you run for an hour on the field. Instead of praying 4 rak'ats and receiving from the Lord of heavens grants, what does He give you? What does He give you? Most of us will find out when we get there. But some of us, awliya Allah, they find here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yunus, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَا اللَّهِ أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَا اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Bushra will come to them in this life. Glad tidings. Malaika will bring the glad tidings for them in this life. فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيا. Here. Most of us will find over there. So when we take ourselves, I don't know if we're running out of time. I know we have to be okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I am better than anything you want. Come to me. Allahu Akbar. No problem. This is it. Mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't silence it. Everybody goes, oh no, they're hearing me. Now we are becoming shy of mentioning Allah. Everybody's like silencing it. He says, come to me. I'm waiting for you. So what do? You have to take wudu. What does that mean? That means, oh my servant, you're dirty. You have immersed yourself in the dirtiness of this world. Before you come to me, you have to clean up. You take wudu. But when you take wudu, it's not only physical wudu, you are taking also inner. You are purifying yourself on the inside. Because when you take wudu, Rasulullah has said that all your sins are being erased and dropped with the water on the beard or the water in the hands. All the sins come out. That means internally you're being purified. So when you wash your hands, you are cleaning yourself from the sins you have committed with your hands. He doesn't want impurities. He wants pure ones there to pray. So you take wudu, you clean yourself up internally and externally, become clean, and then you come in His presence. Where do you direct yourself? You all have to direct yourself to Qibla. That means, my Lord, I have turned my face to you, oh my. Look how the sweetness and the intimacy starts before you even started prayer. The intimacy with your Lord starts that you say, oh my Lord, I have turned my face to you. I'm not looking right anymore. I'm not looking left anymore. Not looking up, not looking down. I am turning my face to you, oh my Lord. That means I don't want anything but you. So He's teaching you in this world what you have to do. You have to turn yourself to Him. Try your best. Try your best because, everybody has circumstances, conditions. Yes, we understand. Me, myself too. But try your best to always remember your Lord. Always turn to Him. And you have to make the niyyah. Right? You have to make an intention, an intent. That means, if you don't make intention, you cannot pray. You have to make the intention. Some of them they say with the heart, some of them they say also with the tongue. But you have to intend that I'm praying. That means, oh my Lord, I am intending you only by saying you are greater than anything else in this world, and you are the only one in my heart. You have to make niyyah and say Allahu Akbar. That means, my Lord, I want you, and I'm saying that you are biggest than anything. You are the only one in my heart. You have to couple it. So you are not a true requester or desirer to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you do not accept that He is better than anything you can find in this world. All these before you even start the prayer. And then you read Surah Al-Fatiha. You start with Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who's saying that? He himself is saying it to himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is praising Himself by Himself. He is saying Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. That means all the praises. All the praises. Anything that needs to be praised to somebody, He is the one that deserves to be praised for it. So now we say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, but in reality, thank you to who? To Him. We are just vehicles, means. He is the one that deserves all the praise. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. So that kibr, that arrogance and pride in the heart of a human being has to be, or the desire to reach perfection has to be switched. Not to reach perfection in this world or go after this world, because you're going to leave and move. Look at all the rich people that died last week or the week before. What the hell? I was reading some Hollywood star died, and then they are asking how much he's worth. But what doesn't matter? Who's going to take his money? The inheritors. So what's the point of gathering all this money? No point. You're going to leave and go. So that seeking of perfection, instead of seeking to be perfect in this world, you have to seek to reach your Lord and not look at anything in this world that will block you from reaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what is requested from us in this world. I can go more and more, but after a while everybody's attention starts to fade. I can continue.
We would like to ask you about the process of how do you purify yourself? How do you get the mechanism-wise to a platform or a way where you can actually enter into jihad al-nafs and try to achieve that level of finding Allah before your eyes?
Omar just recited it.
Yeah. And at the day
ألا بذكر الله اطمئن القلوب. The hearts cannot be satisfied with money, wealth, like we said, positions. Actually, the more positions you get, your heart becomes more upset, disturbed, concerned. So, ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Your heart that you have inside of you will only find peace by mentioning and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one of this manner that we talked about, the pride and the kibr, the arrogance, when we are pushed into that situation, we have to remember our Lord. That, oh my Lord, forgive me. I'm feeling proud on other people. So when you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you tune that bad manners down. So every time there is a bad characteristic that pops up in our hearts, by remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that bad characteristic will start to slow down. So أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. Only by dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does the heart find satisfaction. That means the heart has its own zikr. That is called zikr al-khaf, the hidden zikr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Holy Quran, وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ فِي نَفْسِكَ تَضَرُّعًا وَخُفْيًا. Khufya. There is a hidden zikr. That means you mention your Lord inside yourself without anybody being aware. That is the zikr qalbi, the zikr by the heart. And our teachers have taught us to do 1500 Allah, Allah, Allah every day by the heart. That means nobody's seeing you. You're not saying anything. You're just in here, inside yourself. You're remembering your room. You're remembering your room. Until when? Until you reach what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in Holy Quran. So the path to what you're saying, Sister Sana, is remembering your Lord in yourself every day, multiple times a day, until you reach a station. That station is رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله. Right, Omar? That is in Surah Nour. رجال men لا تلهيهم, not distracted. تجارة, by trade. Now you have the E-Trade app, right? You're like every 2 minutes you're checking your stocks up and down. I had a friend that used to have penny stock. I never had stocks, alhamdulillah. Never will. But I would see him every few moments. He would say, "Oh, it went up a little bit, it went down a little bit, it went up a little bit." This is the trade. So when you're mentioning your Lord in your heart, these kind of trades do not distract you anymore. لا تلهيهم, do not distract. Tijara, trade, do not distract them. Buy, sell does not distract them anymore. ولا بيع, sell. عن ذكر الله. That means you become disconnected. That means zikrullah is the highest thing in your heart. It's the best thing in your heart. To remember your Lord has become priority over everything. That is the station where all these bad manners, they drain. They become drained. Like they say, drain the swamp. That's how you drain the swamp. The swamp is full of hatred, enmity, greed, selfishness, stinginess, arrogance, lying, cheating. If you want to drain the swamp, you start with remembering the Lord of Heavens. That's how you drain the swamp. But nobody listens. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, if you remember Him in your heart, all these bad manners will just evaporate because they will not stay in your heart anymore. They're gone. And that is رجال من لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة. Nothing will distract them from zikrullah and establishing prayer. That means they will start to come to the masjid 5 times a day. It's not going to be a chore on them anymore. وَإِيتَاءُ الزَّكَاةِ. And they will start giving zakah and charity and sadaqah and helpfulness. They will start giving from themselves and preferring others on themselves. All with zikrullah. And now you find people that fight zikrullah. We have become without the head. When we become without a teacher, without a noble teacher, everything is messed up. It's mixed. So the zikr. So if you want to do 70 times astaghfirullah a day, 100 times la ilaha illallah a day, whatever you want to do, read Quran, 1 juz every day, that will help us become satisfied and calm and tranquil and drain all these bad habits from our hearts. And that is tazkiyat al-nafs. That's why with our teachers, once a week we sit down with them and we remember our Lord. He tells us about tafsir al-Quran, tafsir al-Hadith, and later we all make dua to our Lord and pray that He forgives us, that He blesses us. We call Him with His name. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Holy Quran, لِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has holy names, Asma al-Husna. Call Him by it. So we sit down and we call Him by His holy names. So if you want to find more, we are ready. We are ready. Our teacher, Maulana Sheikh Hisham Kabbani, has opened his doors to everybody. He is well known where he is, and everybody is welcome to come and learn from him, because I have learned from him and from my grandfather. Please forgive me. I'm just sharing information with you. I'm not pretending to be a knower. Actually, I'm just a common person trying to find a way to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. Rida Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Radiyallahu anhu wa radu anhu. He is pleased with them and they are pleased with him. That's what we are trying to get to. That He is pleased with us and we are pleased with Him.
We can open for a couple of questions if people have questions. Nour? There is a microphone here. يلا تعالى يا رضوان اسأل سؤال.
Walaikum assalam.
What are besides from Salah and Quran? What are the stories about the Prophet and the Sahabas? What are the things that we can do to increase our iman?
I couldn't understand.
What are the things that we can do in our daily lives to increase our iman?
To increase your iman, you just have to continue prayer, continue following what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered. That's how your iman increases. Iman increases with ta'at, with obediences. When we commit disobedience, our iman gets less. And actually our teacher has said, ghadab, anger, extinguishes the Nour of iman. Ghadab takes away iman. So don't get angry. Like Rasulullah ﷺ has advised his companions. Don't get angry. And that is the biggest test for all of us. We get angry for the little stuff. So iman is to continue with ta'at وَاجْتِنَابِ الْمَعَاصِي and to avoid disobedience. So continue with obedience, being obedient to your Lord and to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and avoid being disobedient. That's how your iman increases.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Do you have advice on how to break the two desires Imam Ghazali mentions?
Could you repeat the question?
Do you have advice on how to break the two desires, desire for food and sexual desires?
How to break them? Fasting. When you fast, you cannot do anything. You have no energy to get out of bed, let alone do anything else. Fasting. Rasulullah has this prescribed. Fasting for the ones that their urges are very strong and they cannot marry. So what is the other one? I didn't catch it.
Desire for food.
Food? If you don't eat, you die. What are you talking about?
No, but there are people who indulge in food, like people. They indulge in food. And food is supposed to be the
Comfort
yeah,
channel.
but it is the door to sexuality too. So there are people who would, have
Right.
these two intertwined desires that they cannot.
That's why Rasulullah ﷺ recommended fasting, because when you don't eat, your desires, they go down. So for a Muslim to counteract the sexual desire especially, is to fast. Food, be in moderation. Rasulullah ﷺ and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran that وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. Moderate. So don't deprive yourself of food. No, don't deprive yourself. But at the same time, don't go overboard with food. So be in between. And that's the beauty of Muslims, that they are wasat, in the middle.
So this question isn't exactly having to do with purity, but it's still an interesting question I'd like to learn more about. So the question has to do with asking for intercession. So in other words, there's this belief that, we have a belief that Muhammad can intercede on our behalf, but there's also the belief that the awliya, the peers, the saints, the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have an elevated status as well. So my question to you is, could you clarify the Islamic position of intercession of people other than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, their status, the permissibility behind that, and sort of the effect of doing something like that, and the reasons behind why people do that?
Well, there are a few Holy Quran verses. The first one that I can remember is when Sayyidina Yaqub, you know Surah Yusuf?
I've read it, yes.
Okay, Surah Yusuf. When the sons, they have committed the mistake, they said, قالوا يا أبانا استغفر لنا ربنا. Do you know that verse?
I
You
might
can,
have
go,
the
you
translation.
can go back with it. Where's Omar? Maybe Omar disappeared. قالوا يا أبانا استغفر لنا ربنا إنا كنا خاطئين. They said, oh, our Father, please ask our Lord, استغفر لنا ربنا, ask our Lord to forgive us. So it means that you ask Him on our behalf. استغفر لنا ربنا إنا كنا خاطئين. We were wrong. قال سوف أستغفر لكم ربي. He said, Sayyidina Yaqub, I will ask forgiveness on your behalf to my Lord. These are the prophets. These are Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam, and he is not Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So in Holy Quran there are areas that you can ask somebody for to act on your behalf, and these are awliya.
Just a follow-up to that. So Yaqub alayhi salam was alive at the time. So what about the people who have passed away? What is the position of people asking for intercession for the deceased?
Well, you know in Holy Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that there are some that die, but they are not dead. They are alive. Right? Shuhada. Right? So shuhada are not Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not die in a battle. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you think that they are dead. بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون. They are alive with their Lord. عند ربهم means with their Lord. And they are provided. Provided what? Yurzaqun what? You know what yurzaqun means, right? They're provided. They're given. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving them? So these are alive ones. These are shuhada. It's like Sayyidina Hamza. When we go to visit shuhada of Uhud, we are asking in their presence. We're making dua. And actually when I went to Umrah last time, it was forbidden in the past. But now I went there. We were like just didn't do anything. An official, a Saudi official came and he says, let me make dua for you. And he started making dua in there at Shuhada Uhud.
But that's a man.
Whatever it is, they are coming back to the right way because it had become an issue of division. So alhamdulillah, we have some examples that not only Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but there are others that can ask on your behalf, whether they were alive as Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam, or we think they are dead, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran they are alive. Shuhada are not dead. You think they're dead, but they're not. So we think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept the dua that's made. You're welcome. And there are so many volumes and books you can read about them. And there is opinion on both sides. So basically what you need to do is you understand it yourself. Don't follow blindly what somebody says. That is not the way to do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a brain and mind. Look at the other opinion and look at the counter opinion and then choose for yourself which one makes better and you follow that one. You're welcome.
You visit the maqam of Sayyidina Hussein in Egypt. Sayyidina Hussein died a shaheed, and what a shaheed he was. So when you go into the maqam, it is an incredible feeling that you have. His presence
The visitation of the graves, visiting the graves is very well known in Islamic practices. Rasulullah used to visit the graves and he used to say, Allahumma ighfir lana wa lahum. He used to make dua there. Rasulullah used to make dua, please, oh our Lord, forgive us and forgive them. So when they go to Sayyidina Hussein radiallahu anhu or to other burial sites, they are visiting that Muslim and they're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for themselves and for him. When you visit your mother or your father or your grandfather, you are asking forgiveness for them. And you are allowed to ask for yourself in the presence of that shaheed, for example. And that is what it's mentioned in ahadith. So always keep your mind open. Nowadays, it's not good to keep it closed. Ask for knowledge and see which one your heart accepts and follow that. Follow that.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Masha, okay, go ahead.
Mashallah, you are all now on the way.
I think we are having shahwat al-button there. The desire of button. Walaikum assalam.
Hi, so my only question is, sometimes when we try to explain to people only as being alive and that they're still alive in their graves, they say that it's like shirk. How do you explain it to them?
You don't have to. Why do you have to?
Because sometimes they think we're being deviated in the wrong path.
There are certain things that you can keep for yourself. And this is okay because you want to prevent fitna. Nowadays is the age of fitna. Fitna means controversy. We want to keep Muslims together. We don't want to separate Muslims. 200, 300 years ago, the opinions were all united that awliyaullah in their graves were alive. Now, after 200-300 years, it changed. So that had made so much controversy between Muslims that they have become enemies. So you take what you like and leave people alone. Like they say in New Hampshire or Vermont, whatever they live and let live. Well, leave people alone. Okay, you like to go to
that die, but that's another one.
Oh. It's better to leave these controversial issues and unite under La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. People don't understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Above every knower is another one. That means that the level of knowledges don't finish. So nowadays people want to say, no, this is it. This is the level. No. Somebody has a different understanding, or a different sanad, or a different. So that nowadays you keep for yourself. There's no need. When you go to awliya Allah, you visit as we are visiting the grave. You make dua like Rasulullah ﷺ has done. You go into the masjid, you pray Zuhr, Asr, whatever it is, and you come out. Just keep it simple. No problem.
Thank you. Anyone else? Chef, thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
You've been an amazing.
I thank SUNY, I thank you, I thank the student body, I thank everybody that has attended here. Inshallah, we can stay together. Let's stay together. We have more important things to battle nowadays. That is Shaitan and his followers. We are all human beings. We are part of a big family, but we have that Shaitan that is trying to take us with him to where? To punishment, to Jahannam. That is the one that we have to fight. So inshallah, we can do it again.
Keep us in your dua, please.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much.